Hi everyone, and welcome to our Design an Eco Hero competition webinar. Can I just remind everybody to turn their cameras off as we are actually recording today's session, and you're already all on mute, so don't be panicking. So welcome to any new faces and also those returning again to our Eco Schools webinar series. It's great to have you all here. I'm Charlene McKeown and I work at Keep Northern Ireland Beautiful. And I'm the Environmental Education Manager, managing projects such as Eco Schools, and my role is funded by the Department of Agriculture, Environment and Rural Affairs. So today we're really lucky. We are working in partnership with the Northern Ireland Housing Executive, and we're super excited about this fantastic partnership. And I have along with me the lovely Gemma Cowles, who's the project lead on the Schools Energy Efficiency Awareness Programme at the Housing Executive. So this is the reason you're all here. Gemma's going to be telling you all about the fantastic competition to design an eco hero. So please feel free to ask any questions in the chat to me throughout, and I'll be sure to put them to Gemma. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to Gemma and ensure that we quite a few people still with their cameras on. So if we can hit, do we all know how to turn our cameras off? It says stop video down the bottom of your left hand screen. It's super duper that we're doing that. Okay, so Gemma, if you want to then share your screen, that would be fantastic and we can get going. And I'm really looking forward to chatting to you all in the chat box.
Yes, my name's Gemma. I'm with Regeneration Sustainability for Housing Executive, and this is a fantastic collaboration with Eco Schools. You can see I'm sharing the love here with the green flag behind me. We sponsor the energy topic and we're delighted to do that. I'm going to tell you about the competition, but first of all, I'm going to run through a presentation, which is really important to us. We've taken the Schools Energy Efficiency Awareness Programme in-house, refreshed the service, and we used to have this out to 160 schools on average a year. We want to get into every school. We want to form a resource that goes behind this presentation and allows teachers to chip and change what they want to do and how they want to roll out the presentation to their classrooms. So without any further ado, meet our protagonist, our hero, the only hero that we have, and then we're looking for 5 other heroes to join this guy for next year. And this, his name's Max, so it's Max Chi for Energy Force. And Max is going to take you on a journey through saving energy for your home, saving money.
He said, Aaron, what's your name?
Saving energy. Hi, Aaron. Saving energy, saving money. So we'll just take you quickly through that journey, and then I'll explain what we want to do with this. Basically, it's a communication challenge, but if a child wants to draw their hero, we'll take that as well. And the guy who's taken all of our thoughts and put them into this presentation is with us today. I want to give thanks to Mark Rayhill, and Mark is the one he's going to recreate the 5 heroes. So when you see these, you'll realize what the 5 heroes will look like. They're fantastic. So we'll go along with Max, and we have sponsored the energy topic. So the Housing Executive under Regeneration Sustainability have sponsored the energy topic, and under that topic we chosen 5 of the other topics because there's 11 and we wanted to mix those. So energy efficiency, water, renewable energy versus fossil fuels, climate change, and really importantly global perspectives, and they sit alongside the world around us in the curriculum. So we've had the curriculum in mind when we did this with Eco Schools. So the first thing we think of, and we also manage the Northern Ireland Energy Advice Service, is there's no use doing anything with renewables or anything else if you've not put the lid on the box. So the lid on the box is insulating the roof. And the roof space used to be something of 50 and 60-year-olds just thought about insulation. Now we want to bring this to the fore and say, this needs to be done. If you do your insulation now, you can save £160 per year. 25% of your heat's lost through the roof. Energy Saving Trust, who we work along with as well, give the statistic of 820 kilograms of CO2 for a normal Northern Ireland 3-bedroom house. And if we were to insulate now, all of the houses this year that are insulating will be insulated beyond 2050. So they're helping to reduce the carbon footprint for 2050 as well. This is hilarious because I had asked a grandson, did his other granny have a jacket on her hot water cylinder because she has oil. She's one of the 67% in Northern Ireland that heat their homes with oil. And he said, a jacket, Nanny. So Mark has put this in, and I think that's in their remind. This is a jacket. So you can save £90 by putting that jacket on your hot water cylinder. And it used to be years ago when I was small, you were told off for keeping lights on, is the light off. And it was really for the cost. It wasn't for the planet, as we know now. A lot of times it was just for the cost. And children now are very sophisticated, and they're the ones that are saying, close that fridge, you're losing energy. May not be a tremendous amount of energy, but it's energy lost. Keeping stuff on standby and switched on, not an awful lot of savings, but still it's savings. And you could save up to £86 per year just by turning off switches of plugs. Hair dryer plugged in for the year, it might be £2, but it's still £2 of energy and carbon. So we would be saving on both. So max, just with the insulation, the jacket, a bit of turning off things on standby, will have saved £360. Take that to your mummy and say, there's money towards my new switch. The other thing is too, we're all about sustainable fashion, and Eco Schools have now launched a sustainable fashion. They had their webinar there recently. And this is a big statistic. For a child's pair of jeans, you can use 1,000 gallons of water. So if we introduce this to our 11 and 13-year-olds now, they are the adults of 2030 for our Northern Ireland energy strategy. They are the people that we need to engage now to be driving electric cars in 2030. I'll probably be too old in 2050. May not even be here. So we need to engage these people to think sustainably, think about fashion, and think, there's one pair of jeans, 1,000 gallons of water. And they all learn about the water cycle and realize, and a lot of adults I've shown this to said, oh, I never knew that. I never knew that we have a finite amount of water that's always been here with us. And, the fresh water from that, the drinking water's we're losing the fresh water, it's becoming contaminated. And by 2050, we may not have the supply of fresh water that we need. We don't need to mention the plastics from the ocean that, children are very about that. 8 litres of water per minute to let the water tap run in your house. If you think about that, the next time you're brushing your teeth, turn it off, because this is the water that the dinosaurs drank, and the 8 glasses of water that we all need, except not all together, as Mark has drawn this. It's wonderful. And bamboo straws. Right, so renewables and fossil fuels would be our next concentration. As I said, the competition will be local. We want to keep this local with Northern Ireland. We're going to put out 15 places for the children to choose from. We've selected those from all around Northern Ireland: Marble Arch Caves, Belfast Cave Hill, Oma Folk Park. They can pick wherever they want, or somewhere that lives near them, but they'll be able to read up on that. And that's an addition for teachers. And, we want to make sure that whatever we tell them, there's another resource that can be pulled in. Right, so in 47 years, there'll be no more oil, and 67% of this province actually need oil. They're dependent on oil at the minute, and there's solar PV. At the minute, it's getting very reasonable to install solar PV, and 158 million terajoules of solar energy strikes the earth in a day, and we're not making use of that. So we want to make sure that these 11 to 13-year-olds are looking into that now. Schools are looking into that, and we would love maybe the prize for next year to look at, instead of giving a monetary sum, looking at helping a school to become more eco-friendly. 40% of Northern Ireland's electricity now comes from renewable energy sources, and that's great to have your classrooms and have your children look that up and see where does that come from. Is that all wind? What was it 10 years ago? And just to let them know, they could stand around all night like Max. It's not going to regenerate. Renewables are not, this is non-renewable, all of our fossil fuels. And this is our climate change topic. And as I said at the beginning, we will have resources behind all of this, a few quizzes, some information, and more statistics than I'm giving you here. So the NI Energy Strategy will be launched 2030, and the consultation's coming up in April for the public. what we need to keep in mind is they are our 18 to 20-year-olds in 2030, and this is who we need to carry on the strategy. The people who have built it now may not be around in 2040 and 2050. So the car could have set just as easily with renewables, but there is a new law for 2040. 2030, no more petrol and fossil fuel cars. So you'll not be able to buy a petrol or diesel car from 2030 in the UK. Fantastic. They'll be driving at 18, and this will be the time that they'll be driving either a hybrid car or an electric car. So this is our future. And humans have made enough plastic since World War II to wrap the earth entirely in cling film. It's unbelievable, these sort of statistics. Bring it home that it's not just 18 million terajoules. What does that mean? It's just the thought of the whole world being wrapped in cling film, and that's the plastic that will never disappear. 80,000 homes could be in danger of flood by 2050 around coastal areas in Ireland. We need to address that for 2050. And at the minute, we're pulling from this earth the resources we would need 1.7, 1.8 earths to really cater for not ruining what we've got now. And we'll talk about Max in the next wee slide here with his fish fingers. So from the 60s, we started to fish the oceans and made stocks of seafood available. There's been 26 million tons of seafood produced just this year alone. That's in 2 months. So you can imagine how much has been pulled from the ocean in the last 60 years. And 90% of fish have reduced due to overfishing of our seas and oceans. And this is just a play. It's a wee bit of a wee parody we looked at, where we're thinking, keeping in mind that they'll be 18 to 20 in 2030. These guys will be 40 in 2050. So they will be they'll be the future of 2050. And if you get a card, a birthday card in 2050, you don't want it to say, you're so old that you remember fish fingers, because they could be gone by then. And that's not what we don't want to see. 26 years, 308 days, and 8 hours yesterday. That's at a point of time captured on a website I'm going to show you next. Time left to the end of seafood if we don't act now. So it's their future. And this is my absolute favourite, and thank you, Mark, for getting this from our minds, and exactly what we wanted it to look like is the rainforest burning, and it's so sad. But if we just take one step, and if everyone took that one step like Max with that little tree, we could go further with this reduction of carbon for 2050. So on top of that, and just to add, that any school that enters this competition will be given a tree to plant, and we'll make sure the trees are collectible from our depots around Northern Ireland. And that's wonderful to think, you know, we're giving 400 trees out, hopefully, or if that's the amount of people that we have for the competition. So in global perspectives, we know that has a knock-on effect to all of us here. So whatever happens globally, with the butterfly effect, we feel it as well. And this might look like a good laugh, that in 2050, the Gulf Stream were to turn off, our luck could partially or freeze. So what we can ask is, what would happen then if that happened? We've got a sleigh race from Carrickfergus over to Bangor. It might be good fun, but we'd have no food coming in. We do a lot of importing, and that would be nice to talk about the Gulf Stream and the effects it would have on our food and on our economy here for children. And in 400 BCE, Plato had said one of the most important things, like Maslow's hierarchy, is to have clean and accessible drinking water. And here in 2021, in third world countries, we still haven't reached that 2,400 years later. It's incredible. We haven't got to the point where someone can just turn on a tap. And we take it for granted so much that we waste 8 litres in a minute. And if you have a pen at the minute, this is a fantastic website. It's a website that we've been using to pull our statistics. All of their data is sourced. It's a Danish company. We've spoke to the company. They're very interested in getting involved in letting our schools embed the link to all of their counters into your website. So we'll talk to everyone. We'll put this information in the pack that will go out early next week. And the website's called The World Counts, all one word, theworldcounts.com. And the world does count. And we have found a group of people that really believe that. So this is the website when we go to look at it. So at any point in time, and I captured this yesterday, this was our population on the world. And it's fantastic for children to see something at a point of time instead of having to look at a multitude of websites. So they can click in and see what it is now, what it's been in 2021, what it is this month, this week and today. And I clicked on, this was yesterday, I've been planning this today, and it showed that we had 198,592 growth so far yesterday in the world's population. So these 11 to 13-year-olds, we want to give them the credit. They're very sophisticated at the minute. They're very into this stuff. These are our climate action ambassadors for the future. These are the young voters for the 2030 energy strategy and pushing that on. And Max is saying, I can't do this by myself. I need help. And it's great that he's in working that all out. Thanks, Mark. And what we want to do is we want to get you to design a hero so that we can carry on this presentation next year with your input and your engagement. So we need you, we need the children. And we find this today, we have 166 people sitting here today. We're absolutely delighted to get such a good crowd. But we spoke to parents, spoke to teachers, and they're so busy, they're bogged down. So on the 22nd of March, we're going to invite the children to a webinar. It'll be one of the first webinars for children from Eco Schools and ourselves. And we're going to invite the children along, and it'll be a children's audience. And we'll have a special guest coming as well. It's going to roll this out for us. He's coming from his back cave. So it should be really good when we get a couple of heroes involved and get this pushed and make sure that this is not just a competition with prizes. This is to move on from this. We're going to send these out. So for ICT class, you can colour these in Paint on the computer or use another app that you have. We'll send those all, we'll send every image that we have out like that. And just to reiterate and keep it in fresh in your minds that we're all about the Sustainable Development Goals as our Eco Schools. So we do follow the principles of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and so do our programme for government. So in fact, when we're voting for these Sustainable Development Goals, and that's what we need to read up on and achieve. We'll send out the Eco Hero Design competition like this. We'll send a letter for parents from ourselves in Eco Schools, and we'll be asking for 300 words. We'll send all of the rules out, 300 words, or alternatively, if a child wants to draw their hero, but they have to communicate to us how they're going to help for 2050, what their colour is, how they're going to help reduce carbon climate change for 2050, what the colour is, where do they hang out in Northern Ireland, what their name is. And then they'll be brought to life, and we'll sit down with the 5 winners. We'll have Mark over Zoom, obviously, virtually, and we'll sit down with the 5 winners and pull those out, and then we'll share those with you, and we'll put them into next year's presentation. The 5 winning schools receive anything from £1,000 to £200, and there's 5 prizes, which is important. But you know, I believe that what's more important is their schools given that accolade of designing the Northern Ireland Eco Hero. And also the 5 winning children will receive 5 laptops. We've never done this before. We usually say that's enough. But I think children have been through a lot this year. So any child that wins and comes through. So it's all a win-win situation. We're absolutely delighted to launch this. We're delighted to be part of Eco Schools, and giving a shout out to the Housing Executive. It's our 50th anniversary this week. And we're not just all about houses. We're about every aspect of Northern Ireland life. This is just the end, myself now, that's me, but we had a webinar back in August to launch our Northern Ireland Energy Advice Service, and we promised then that instead of traditional plastic merchandise that you find everywhere and you throw it out after a month or whatever, we decided we'd plant trees. So like the 400 trees we're providing with, we're working along with TCV, the conservation volunteers, for this competition, those 400, we did plant the 200 trees. We've planted them in the North Wood, up in the West Circular in Belfast. They're birch, cedar, they're native trees. There's cherry trees as well. They're 5 to 8 foot. And what I never noticed when I took this photo the other day of the guys planting were the roof behind you. If you look at that, there's a Housing Executive roof with solar panels on, so it's fantastic. So we'll get there.
Yeah,
hope you all enter.
Sorry for interrupting. Would you be able to go over what the kids have to do again? A couple of them are just wanting to know exactly what they need to do.
Yes, brilliant. So we'll send out the pack to their teacher or to their mum or whoever registered with the email address for today. So if their mum entered with their email address, we'll send that pack out. I've rushed through the presentation to let people get away on a Friday, but we'll send the presentation link as well and the resources.
Okay. Well, Gemma, I can't thank you enough and thank everybody for attending today's webinar. I think you'll all agree Gemma has put in a lot of work on this, and it looks fantastic. And I want to thank Mark Rahale, the fantastic artist that worked on this project along with Gemma. And we're really looking forward to seeing all your entries. But as Gemma said there, you will receive, so if you register today with an email address, you'll receive the pack sent out to you with all the instructions. It'll also early next week, if you want to share this with some of your school friends, your other colleagues, it will go up, a recording of this will go up onto the Eco Schools website, onto our YouTube channel, and it'll be on Instagram TV as well, little snippets of it as well. The closing date is around mid-April, but we're being flexible with that, obviously, with COVID restrictions and schools being in and out. So yeah, the resources are available early next week, and please don't forget to log in for some of our other webinars coming up. I think we have 2 next week around biodiversity, so exciting times ahead. But Gemma, I'm absolutely over the moon with the work that you've done. And
thanks, Geraldine. It's a fantastic opportunity. It's a wonderful project, and working along with yourselves, doing so much great stuff, you know, and we hope to be part of pushing out the green flags when we all get well and we're all back out and we're not virtual anymore. It'd be great to do that as well. So thank you.
Yeah, well, this competition entry will be great evidence towards the green flag application. So it's great, yes. Fantastic partnership, and really looking forward to how we move forward. So from us too, we just want to say bye-bye to everybody and thank you all for coming along. We've had a great time.